Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins along with the gang, my brother Brent, Apollo Asteria, and Dr. J. We're going over incredible videos just into Third Phase of Moon and security cam that may have captured something crazy, paranormal activity or something spiritual. Watch this.
Y se queda ahí todavía está corriendo el reloj de la cámara, se está grabando, se mira como dos cabezas, pues dos personas se mira ahí atravesadas a la misma vez, que tienen como una lámpara, a lo mejor es una pareja, pero no sé, a veces empieza a mover y la cámara ya no lo graba muy bien, pero a veces mira que se está yendo por aquí.
All right, we're going to get some translation for what you've just heard, and we're going to go over incredible detail of what was captured. Are we looking at something that is unlikely something common? We're looking at something unordinary, something paranormal? I don't know. Let's just start it up right now.
Yeah, this one is really wild. I mean, basically what you're seeing here, this right here, it looks like it's like almost two people. But what's crazy is before this, you see this light come in, right? And it's like, it looks like a ball of light. It comes in, comes zooming in, and then it sort of appears and transforms it into a person. And then it looks like it splits into two people and then walks away and kind of appears and disappears as it's walking away. And so here you see the light coming up. And obviously this is on security camera footage. You can tell that someone is filming their screen. So this seems really legit to me.
I can see right as soon as the light kind of just stops, these apparent two characters appear right there on this security cam footage. Could this be some sort of artifacting within the lens? Right there, you just see that person or whomever move away, and you see that little flashlight. Could this just be, again, a flash of a flashlight walking through the fields, creating this effect?
I'm not sure. I'm just looking at it, and look, just the couple, or if they were two people, just disappeared once again and reappeared. I'm not sure about just a flashlight creating that kind of effect. It just seems very bizarre here. Dr. J?
Well, this is not the first time people have reported that a small orb like that actually encompasses a person when a being shows up or a ghost shows up. The interesting thing about this is the people watching the surveillance footage even talk about how at first they see a being, but then they see two heads come out of the being, and then they realize it's two figures and one must be sort of bleeding into the other. But one thing they also say is once it starts to move to the left, they notice only one is going to the left.
Interesting observations there, Dr. J. Now, let's roll the next one. This is coming in from China. Something happened at 30,000 feet. Watch this.
你怎么处理？啥都不定，然后一问就是跟领导在沟通，发微信在沟通。
看，这啥呀？
There it is. We're looking at this close-up of this UFO that was just captured September 11th over there in China. The person filming there was at the airport. Then they're up 30,000 feet, and they captured this amazing red-orange object moving at amazing speeds. John, what do you make of this?
Every time I see something extremely bright like this, it always reminds me of what Bob Lazar said in 1989. When you have something that has very high voltage, high electricity, and you're in a gaseous atmosphere such as ours, which is mostly nitrogen and oxygen, it produces this glow. So I always tend to believe stuff when I see video like this. And I think it goes back to what's been talked about by many people like Bob Lazar and is seen in so many videos.
I'm doing some enhancements here. It's trying to make out what kind of aircraft this could be, a rocket, a jet fighter, but I'm not seeing any of these indications. We're looking at pure energy right now.
Yeah, I know I always kind of go back to this, but it really seems like a ball of plasma, a ball of light to me. This one obviously red in nature. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it's, a metallic object. It's just this glowing light.
Yeah, the big question is what is the propulsion behind it? If it's intelligent in its nature, or is it just a random friction of electricity, ball lightning? I don't think so. This thing seems to have some kind of interest in the airliner for one, and it is having some kind of cool aerodynamics at the same time there.
Yeah, and recently, just a couple days, they just shut down the major airport there in China too as well. So there's a big mystery. They say there's some UFOs, just like we said, big one coming out of New Orleans. This just happened a couple days ago.
So when we receive weather phenomenon, especially during hurricane activity, it's been happening across the coast of America, and people are dealing with it, but they're also dealing with this. They're looking up in the sky and wondering what the heck is going on. Is this some kind of, I don't know, dare I say it, weather manipulation? I don't know. It just looks really bizarre, but Mother Nature will throw you for a loop if you underestimate it. What do you think we're looking at here, Dr. J? I think meteorologists are going to be tripping on this one for a while.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, if this is something nature's producing, obviously nature shocks us all the time, and this is the first I've ever heard of anything like that. This thing looks sinister. Now, we do know UFOs use cloud cover all the time. There are even UFOs that disguise themselves as clouds that people have filmed all the time. In the early 90s, you may have remembered the Guardian landing case in Canada. That footage, which showed a little bit of smoke coming, but nothing like this. Is this, like you said, technology, or is this natural?
Are you seeing the orbs here too, Brent? Look at these bright plasmic orbs within this spherical red glowing object within the clouds, hiding within the clouds.
Yeah, people could speculate, and I could even speculate too. Could you imagine some sort of craft hidden within the clouds are projecting this light, or could it just be the sun's hitting it directly and creating this beautiful weather phenomenon that we've never seen anything like this? This is incredible. Again, this is right around a huge storm system, and we've been around that too. We've seen a lot of these strange clouds, but this one kind of blows me away.
Yeah, I'm wondering, seeing this, if it's some sort of craft camouflaged by the clouds, like it, hiding behind these clouds and glowing through. But, it kind of does look like maybe it could be some sort of meteorological effect. But the intensity of the brightness of the reds in it is almost unnatural to me.
Guys, we're sharing you the videos right now on Third Phase of Moon. We've got a bunch more coming up. So if you're joining us in this live premiere, make sure you leave your comments and hit that thumbs up. Now, again, what do you think this is? Natural weather phenomenon or something abnormal like what we're looking at right now? Brent, you have some information on this. The new videos of crazy stuff going on above our heads in the cloud layer, not too far away.
Yeah, this one just came in, and it's a good comparison to what just happened in America in New Orleans. We're looking at the same kind of bright, illuminated light of red shining through the clouds, but this one is making a rotation kind of counterclockwise as I'm looking at it. It's pretty amazing. You see the plasma as it kind of dances around in a circle, suspended in the sky. Could this be some sort of, again, new projection, new technology, or a weather phenomenon, or something otherworldly? John, what do you make of this one?
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a bit on this one, because living in Southern California with the wildfires all the time, it's not uncommon to see fire actually with smoke like this start to go in a circle, because as the fire is heating up the air around it, you have the cooler air around it, calling a temperature inversion. But if this isn't fire, then this is clearly something unexplainable.
Yeah, again, the location is France, and this is just recent. So the phenomenon is happening around the planet. Apollo, what do you make of this one?
I'm curious to know what time of day this was being filmed. I mean, it looks like maybe it's early in the evening or earlier in the day. But, what comes to mind for me with all this weather phenomena is also weather modification technologies. I mean, this has been used recently. We know that it's technology that is out there that's available, so maybe it's something being tested.
The experimental weather program, or again, maybe a hidden craft hiding in the clouds and just looking down upon us. Guys, I want to get your comments. Now, let's roll the next video into third phase of moon. Watch. Once again, we're looking at something in the night sky. It's new. I've never seen anything quite like it. Kind of a tail with this bright illuminated object in front, and it has this rainbow iridescence about it, and we're looking at it right above this neighborhood, and it's just hanging up there. Could it be some kind of kite? I don't know. I don't see kites at night, but maybe if you get a kite and light it up with LED lights, you're going to get this effect. But again, I'm looking at something I haven't seen before. Brent, what do you make of this?
Yeah, definitely call out this as one of ours. Again, new technology. China's coming out with all sorts of stuff. They like their gadgets, their toys, but this one would catch people's eye. If I saw this, I'd film it because I've never seen anything like it. But I'm going to lean towards this being one of ours. John.
About 30 years ago, we had a lot of talk about the aurora, and if everyone remembers, the contrail of that was this donut shaped, like a donut on a rope sort of contrail. And at first, that's what I thought about this. But like Brent just said, this is probably something more recent. Now, also, let me make a point of this. Ever since we started messing with CERN, we've had so much more activity going on. It's not that, right? But what if by messing with CERN and creating those black holes, things from other realms are starting to appear here? So is this ours, or is this just more activity?
You can see that it says stationary again up there. Is this just having its own propulsion, or is it tethered to the ground? I don't see any tether.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed about this video is that it's definitely very stationary. You don't see it moving across the sky, but obviously you see the tail has some movement to it. I'm looking at the light patterns on the tail and the way the light patterns are moving down across the tail, and it really kind of reminds me of different types of lighting that I've seen before for shows and things like that. So I think this is some really amazing, definitely a really cool toy or kite type thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to call that out, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing these videos popping up over and over if somebody has this exact toy. But again, we're looking at it for the first time. So if you're seeing this kind of stuff, maybe we could just squash these kind of sightings and never look at it ever again. But right now I'm seeing something, and I think we could all agree that we're seeing something for the first time here. And if this toy's out coming in from China and we're going to see it all over the place, well, then we'll never share these kind of videos again. But right now it seems very stationary. I don't know if there's this slight breeze of wind creating the tail, and it's just a stationary drone up there. It's still interesting, and it's definitely not a kite. I don't see it undulating left to right. Now, we've been seeing a lot of broad daylight metallic flying saucer videos, but this one we've wanted to pull up. It's been on Third Phase Moon. We're going to bring up the archive of one of these incredible daylight sightings, and when you get a really good close-up look at it, it really does remind you of the Bob Lazar S4 stories of the reverse-engineered craft that he experimented with, apparently. Now, take a look at this video. It pretty much matches up with what Bob Lazar talked about.
This is really interesting. It's just like Bob Lazar said. First of all, if you recall, what he said is there was 3 gravity generators in pretty much every one of the saucers. And when they travel in one way, like on Earth, they use one to get off the ground and the other 2 to point in whatever direction. When they're in space flight, what they'll do is flip up on their side and point all 3 in one direction. This being upside down is actually a way a lot of people report them, and very consistent with what Bob Lazar said. Now, some people are going to say this is a balloon. It is absolutely not, because first of all, it's not aerodynamic for a balloon. A balloon is not flat like that and traveling from left to right. Now, look at it. It is literally a saucer, almost like a flattened acorn. There's no propellers. There's no wings. There's nothing that would make it fly outside of some crazy technology we don't know of.
Yeah, well said there. Here's the pull-up photo, which gives all the detail. You can see it. It's 100% legit. You could analyze this photo right here, and you could tell this is absolutely 100% legit. Now, again, what's the propulsion keeping this thing up in the sky? As soon as that person got that photo, they managed to get the video, which you can see matches directly with the object that we're looking at. What's keeping this up? I don't see no prop propellers, no combustion of any kind, and it's moving rather smoothly. It's not like wobbling in the wind. It seems to have a kind of trajectory in a certain pathway.
Yeah, just going off of what Dr. J said about, basically the anti-gravity being positioned differently in regards to the direction it's moving. It definitely seems to be going a little more downwards, and you can see it almost seems to be upside down when you get the close-up on the photo. From this angle, it kind of looks like more round, but I think what we're seeing here is the bottom of the craft. But then here, like, as you zoom up, you see that it kind of has, the disc shape that, these kind of craft normally have, but it seems that the top part, it seems to be upside down.
No, we're looking at this. You can see the shadows, the refraction of light. It's just interesting to look at these kind of craft. And again, they're being spotted all across the planet. And sometimes it could be like a balloon, some people might say. If you look up way up high in the sky and you see this kind of just a black dot. But when you take photos and you manage to capture these images, then you could enhance it, and then it kind of reveals something altogether different. Like, let's pull this photo up once again. You can see how far it is, and it's going to come up in just 1 second. And if you're looking at this with your naked eye right here, see how far it is, and then you zoom up, and then it really reveals its true nature. This is kind of interesting stuff here. Dr. J?
It's really cool that you could zoom in with such high definition these days. This thing is absolutely nothing we have on this planet and that would be able to fly in such a smooth way. Look at it. I mean, it is seamless. Also, if you look very closely at the edges of this craft, you see a tiny bit of fuzz, and I'll tell you why I think that is. That looks like the distortion from the technology.
What I like about this is that we got both photographs and video of the same object. And like Blake was saying earlier, sometimes we get videos every day. We get like 10 UFO sightings from people around the world that just want to share it. And it's hard to bring up the details because something's too far away, and maybe it could be something otherworldly and they see something amazing. But when you're getting it with the camera, it's really hard to prove. This one could look like a balloon, but when you get the close-up, as it's moving, you can see it's the same object, and this thing's like flat. It's disc-like. It's not like undulating or wobbling. It's just staying flat, like it's being controlled.
Yeah, it's a high-tech drone, but how high-tech? Could it be millions of years in advance of high-tech that we know of today, right now, of the drones that we're dealing with in commercial airspace and even military? But once again, this could be something that the government could be looking at, the UAP task force. There's so much evidence right here at Third Phase Moon that continues to come in. The best place for the evidence coming in from around the world in real time. And we're looking for your evidence, the UFO phenomenon, it's real. So upload that video if you capture anything, and copy paste that link to my email. It's in the description below. We'd love to share your videos. Thanks everybody for joining us from around the world. Blake Cousins. We'll see you next time.
Over and out.
We'll catch you all later.
10-4.